Hey, today we are here with Daria Berenato, a.k.a. WWE's superstar Sonya Deville. She's here to talk about her very unique journey.
Acting Class Weekly with legendary character actor Sean Whalen. Lessons, tips, and insight into the craft and business of acting from a man who's been directed by the likes of Spielberg, Eastwood, Tim Burton, Ang Lee, Michael Bay, Wes Craven, Tom Hanks, and many more of Hollywood's A-list. He is 30 years an actor and your professor, Sean Whalen.
It is so nice to be sitting here with two self-driven, strong, independent women. And here's the reason why. You have a new member of your club today. My daughter Sarah just turned 18.
Whoa!
Yes.
Well, happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Today?
Today.
That's a milestone.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Yeah. And she's
She
like...
can now be with whoever she wants.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
that's
a really
you
I
know
meant
what?
she can be whoever she
Really?
wants.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Sean.
Thank you. Wow, just gonna blow out all the candles
Well,
on that cake.
if you're-
Anyway,
gross ginger shot didn't kill the vibe, then
she
that
is
definitely did.
she is headed
Can't
to
help it. I can't help myself.
she is headed to Boston or Worcester, your area, at Clark University.
That's amazing.
Poli-sci with a possible emphasis on education. Or I guess a minor, I'm sorry.
You did it, Sean.
I did it. She's on her way. She's doing well.
You must be feeling really proud today.
I'm super proud. I mean, this is going to sound, I hope this doesn't sound as bad as it does when people say, oh, you're going to miss her terribly. And I liken it to when we used to foster kittens and people would say, oh my God, man, how do you give them away? And I think it's the same feeling of, I said, because when I foster a kitten and we help them and we know they're going to get adopted, I actually feel good instead of sad. We also have two cats, you know what I mean? So I couldn't keep them anyway. But I
so
feel
you're saying
good
because you
that
have your other daughter, you don't feel as bad?
yeah.
'cause
No.
that's the cats you
Actually,
have.
it's more the other part that it's like I know I set her up for success, and now she gets to go and get a happy, fulfilled life because I did the stuff to get her ready for the next step.
It's like a proud moment.
It's a proud
father
moment, but that's like, so I don't feel like, oh, what's my life going to be without my daughter here? It's like, no, I'm so excited for you. And this is the worst thing ever when we've talked about it. We can't wait till she turns 21 to go and share a beer together.
Oh,
Is that a bad thing to say?
I mean, I was sharing beers with my parents way younger than that.
It was
so-
18, but it was 18 in Maryland, so that means it's actually 12 in Maryland. No, I'm kidding. But it was, you know, it was
No,
a
I think
fun
that sounds
thing to
really
do.
lovely that you want to be able to do that.
Yeah, we've already said, like, after she turns 21, St. Patty's in Boston. Oh, yeah, that's happening.
Southie, baby.
Yes. Can
That
you imagine?
Seems like a crazy St. Patrick's Day.
It's going to be nutto. But so it's kind of neat to have this day be the day that I'm sitting here with, as always, Miss Phenomenal, my co-host Roxy Striar,
Never gets old to hear it out of your mouth, Sean.
the amazing Daria Berenato, a.k.a. Sonya Deville.
What's up?
And I'm sorry that you don't get to join the Strong Independent Women's Club, Mr. Funtabulous, with Jeff Graham in the booth.
Sorry, I'm married to a strong, independent woman, so that can.
There
count,
you
right?
Yes,
go.
and my
Good
girlfriend is
answer.
one. So
Wow.
it's
His wife is a strong, independent woman.
But
it is- I mean,
Oh,
listen, that's
she's
a-
a boss.
that's
She is a boss.
That's a whole other show, right?
Yeah.
The guys who go, I want a strong, independent woman, and then they're terrified when they actually get one.
Oh,
do you
that
know
is
what I
a whole
mean?
other show.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just take a break from this show at some point and do
Yes,
an
and
episode
just do
on
that show.
Yeah.
Just do that thing.
sounds
Yeah.
fun.
So today we are here with Daria because through an AfterBuzz connection, I am now her acting coach. We are working on several things, which we'll get into. But we went out to lunch a few weeks ago, and I just wanted to know her journey. I always do much better coaching people just to know, you know, their background and who they are so I can find a way to speak their language.
So why is that, Sean, though? Because you use things about their past to influence their performance?
No, I can speak their language. So I was teaching a surfer, right? And this young woman was a surfer. And so I could say to her, yes, you have to learn the basics of jumping on the board. learning your lines. Yes, you have to know how the correct stance is on the board. But when push comes to shove, you have to just read the situation, ride the waves, and see. So I could speak to her in her language.
Better analogies.
And so for Daria, I didn't need to do any of that because I think it's because we're both back Easters. We're just pretty straightforward. And so, but because we had that lunch and I got to know her better, now I know how to communicate with her. I know that I don't have to tiptoe around things. She can take constructive criticism. You know what I mean? So it just gets to know her better. And in that lunch, I really realized that she has had a very driven, flexible journey. And I thought that was a perfect thing to bring on the show.
Great.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Sean.
more.
Yes,
Oh.
you will.
And you will.
And you will. But before we get into it, we always start with Sean's week. Should we give one a shot? Ready?
Up or down?
I'll go up.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Sean's week. That wasn't bad, except that it was super out of tune.
I thought it was, we nailed
This
it.
is a weekly thing.
Yeah.
And we get better and better every week. So imagine where we
No,
started.
like 3 weeks ago,
Wait,
we
on the
nailed
count of
that
three,
one.
let's all do it. I got one.
All right, gotta
Where,
get
well,
one.
where are you going to go?
No,
I'm gonna go
she's going
somewhere
to tell
y'all
us.
don't
Ready?
even know.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sean's week. There's like
It's like a gremlin.
there was like a
It's like
like
Lilo
a
and Stitch.
That's nice.
I have a lot of talents.
Wow. And then we've just scratched the surface,
I didn't
folks.
even know I was allowed to do voices.
I know, I didn't either.
I think I was
Oh,
in the
well.
box, Rocks.
Ugh. All right. So we always start with my week.
I like that.
So we missed a show last week because I was in Memphis doing my first corporate improv gig. And I went in there. I had a plan. When I went in, the guy I was working with, I worked with a bunch of executives. When you do these things, you can't talk about the business or they're private. They don't want to let everybody know which corporation I was in and stuff like that.
So you mean it's not that you didn't know which corporation you're
Yeah,
in?
yeah,
You mean
no,
right
no.
now you're not going to tell us?
Right now,
Okay.
I can't tell you.
Got it.
But it was basically I was working with managers and their anxiety or frustrations in doing live presentations and feeling comfortable in their skin.
Can you say
was the gist of it?
Is this a big company, small
Yeah,
company?
it's a big company.
Okay,
it's
so
a
you're
big
working
company.
with dozens of people?
It was like 25 people.
All right.
So I went in there and
Now I
then,
know exactly what company it was.
Yeah, you're going to say
25
it.
people, I've
Here we
narrowed it
go.
down.
I've narrowed it down. But they were really, I went in there, read the room. I had a plan to do like a really goofy, silly improv right at the front, looked around the room, talked to a few people and was like, scratch that. And I'm not going to move that to the second day because I know they want to kind of ease into it a little bit. He called me up a couple times ago. Hey, Sean, can you expand on this thought? I had no idea that he was going to do that. So
What do you mean?
like
That
he was,
would-
let's say he's talking about a certain subject of getting over anxiety for doing your presentations and saying maybe it's about preparation and say, and an actor is prepared just like Sean does before, they go up and do an audition. Sean, can you come up here and talk about that? And it was out of nowhere and I'd have to go up
He
there.
was making you improvise.
Yeah, exactly. And he'd
Wow.
bring me up and stuff. And so the whole takeaway from that, so by the end of the 2 days, I always go in there and just go, I never want to leave a bad taste. How do I adapt? And so I adapted, adjusted, I moved around my classes, was able to step up there. And, this is definitely now something we will work together in the future. We had such a good experience. But my takeaway was, based on what I was saying about Daria and her flexibilities, I was flexible. I went in there with a plan, but I had to adopt and move and change and shift to make it work and fit the situation because you can only prepare so much. And that's great on our auditions too, guys, when we talk about auditioning. You can only do so much. You have no idea what the room's going to be like.
It's also ironic because you went to teach improv and you had to improvise like
Yeah,
Roxy was
Yeah.
saying. So it's
exactly.
like,
Yeah, it was great. And so I really learned how to read the room. I hadn't worked with, this is a guy I don't think I had seen in, I'd say safely, like 38 years.
Wow.
And we
haven't
worked
seen 38
really, yeah.
me neither.
So hence the strong young woman comment at the beginning. But anyway, so I had to learn his vibe and how he worked. And so it's really about having, and this is what I want to talk about today, an intention. My intention was I want to be really good, I want to succeed, and then your attention gets pulled away by things that change and stuff, but just keep going back to your intention.
You said that you didn't want to leave with a bad taste in their mouth. Was there a moment, Sean, in which you thought that might happen?
When he pulled me up the first couple times, he did say later on, he's like, if I had any criticism, you seemed a little out of sorts at the first couple times, but man, you turned it around. And I thought, yeah, I was, because I didn't know how it was going to work.
Did you say that to him?
Yeah. I said, well, I kind of didn't know I was going to work, but then I kind of got the vibe. And he was like, great. And then the next day, you know, he's a guy who gives feedback for a living, right, to executives and people. And he goes, I have nothing bad to say. It was so good. You did such a good job. And so this is another opportunity for me to do something different and spread those wings in that area. So I'm very excited. But again, flexibility, knowing what you want to do, and then your attention gets pulled and shifted, and you always just get back to your intention. And Daria and I talk about that all the time when we work together. Intention, we were talking about it yesterday, attention and intention and getting back to it. So before we get into the whole fabulous Daria Berenato journey, Roxy's going to talk to us about AfterBuzz.
Yeah, and it's
Tell
something
us.
that Daria knows very well, having been an AfterBuzz TV host before. But here's the deal, guys. If you love our show, you actually can do something amazing to help us. You can go to iTunes, you can rate, comment, subscribe. Also on YouTube, that thumbs up, give us a comment there. Why does that matter? Why does it matter that you guys do that?
I'm not sure.
Good improvisation, because you knew I was going to
being,
say it,
but I'm
then you
being
were
the
feeding it.
the
It's
audience.
really good.
I'm shifting as the audience.
So the reason it matters is because it actually brings us up in the rankings, so it's easier to find our show if more comments and more likes are there, and also because we read all of those comments and we implement them into our show. So we actually structure these shows around the questions that you guys have at home, and it helps us know what you need to learn, whether it's about headshots, reels, resumes, finding agents, who you want us to bring in as special guests. Write it in the comments, give us that 5-star, that thumbs up, and we'll make sure we'll address all of them. I mean, there's nothing that we can't talk about here. It's our show, right?
That's correct.
All right, thank you guys so much, and we really appreciate that. Go do it right now. Right now. When are you going to do it? Right now, because if you don't do it now, you're going to forget.
I'll put you in a headlock.
There you go. I was just going to say, Sonya
I saw
Deville
you do one of those last night with Maria Menounos,
amazing.
but I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Oh, that was lockup.
Oh,
Yep.
the only thing,
headlocks like this?
Right.
with our theme music, I
still
feel
know
like we
nothing.
should just get a group of. You remember, what are the gymnastics with the sticks and the ribbons?
Batons, the
sticks and the ribbons.
Rhythmic,
It's,
right?
What's it called?
Rhythmic gymnastics?
Yeah,
Is
rhythmic
I'm
gymnastics.
A huge Olympics fan.
I think some
You
rhythmic.
trying to faster with that than anything you've ever
ever.
tried?
Yeah, exactly.
Rhythmic. It's rhythmic.
Rhythmic gymnastics.
it's rhythmic gymnastics.
You are an. Is there such thing? I guess.
That was so good.
I was going to ask the question: is there such thing as an Olympic nerd? And yes, it's happened.
You found it.
I found one.
So.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
feel
A lot of Olympic
you're an
nerds.
Olympic nerd?
It is unhealthy, and we shouldn't get into it now. But when
That's
the
another
Olympics
wrap.
come,
We have two shows.
Yes.
Wow.
We have two shows.
know this.
Men afraid of dating strong, independent women. Olympic nerds.
Yes.
We're going to get a whole other
Spin-off.
show. Spin-off shows.
Totally. You guys are capable. I believe in you. But before we move on, I do just want to say that AfterBuzz TV is something that's so near and dear to my heart, and to be back here in a guest role when I used to be the Sean or the Roxy
Right.
interviewing guests, it's like a full circle moment where it's like, I don't care what side of this table I'm on. I just love being here.
Yay.
Yeah, you
And-
turned to me before. You said, I kind of miss it.
I do miss it. This is like one of my. So when I first, for those of you that don't know, when I first moved to LA, I was trying to act and fight MMA and do all that great stuff. But I found AfterBuzz along the way. We'll talk about this later about
Yeah,
being
in the
flexible.
journey, yeah.
And it brought me on the most ridiculous journey that I could have ever imagined.
How
And
did you find AfterBuzz? I don't think I know that.
Hey,
was
you're
bought-
ruining my
okay.
thing. You're ruining my,
Do you wanna get
my
to it later?
flow.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be there later.
All right.
Okay.
It's going to be piece of the puzzle.
To
Oh, don't be that offended.
be
Come
determined.
on. Are you
Did
that
I look
offended?
offended?
I don't know. I'm
wanted
reading
to
your
know.
eyes.
Was this
It's the
Michelle?
eyelashes. It's
Yeah.
the long. It's the long eyelashes.
That my eyelashes look offended? I don't know how to help that.
Roxy
I don't
has
know.
great lashes.
Chill lash. Chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, chillax. Chilashes.
Chillash out.
Chillax. Chilashes.
I just chillashed out against you.
Yes, lashed out. I
I'm
love
sorry.
it. That's gonna get in the zeitgeist, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't
just
look
letting
so
you know.
offended.
So I know because
Roxy's face.
I know. Look,
I'm just a curious person, okay?
I just see. This is what we told you about this. We
Doesn't
told you about
even
this.
go
Totally.
here.
Roxy's really good at
So,
her job.
all right. So, how did we meet? Brief, like, how did we meet? Through Keven Undergaro, put us together, who is
Yep.
the founder of AfterBuzz TV.
Yep.
That's how we met. We were put in.
I was on that text chain. just
Yeah,
saying.
little text
yeah,
chain.
you were.
On that
Rox,
chain.
Rox did the connect.
He came to me, thought it was a great idea, ran it by Daria, and we hit it off pretty much right away.
But was
We
it
did.
like that for you guys both behind closed walls? Were you like, should I be doing this? Do I need this? And were you like, I don't know much about the
No.
WWE? Or how did that go?
So my conversation with Kevin was, I want to do more acting, and he said, Maria actually said, you need to start doing acting classes. And I was like, yes, I've been meaning to do it. It's one of those things where you have on a list in your notepad in your phone, but you haven't
Right.
deleted it or checked it off, and it's been there for like years. Literally, it's been
you
in my
move
notes.
it to the next day over
Yes.
and over.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah.
in my notes. I'm not even kidding you. Probably since 2017, get acting classes.
Yeah.
And I have not checked it off yet. So I was like, this is the time I'm going to do it. And then, but my question to Kev was, how? I can't fly to LA. You know,
Right.
I work.
you're in
whatever.
Florida.
I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
And I travel so much for work already. Like, how am I going to do that? And he goes, he'll do Skype. He'll do FaceTime. And I
Yeah.
was like, you can do that with acting classes? I didn't think it was like an option. And then he put us in contact. And Sean's like, yeah, we can, of course, Skype or FaceTime.
Yeah.
And
Because it's coaching.
It's coaching.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different thing. We're doing some acting technique, but we're doing several things. We're working on the WWE characterization
Yep.
and the growth of Sonya Deville. We've started some basic acting understanding stuff. And, listen, I said right off the bat to Kevin, I said, I would love to help someone be on the path of The Rock. Why not? And John Cena, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, that excites me.
Well, because also, who is the woman who's done that yet? I mean, we've got Batista, we've got The Rock, Cena, like you just
Yeah.
said, Miz. Like, a lot of them have dabbled or even have incredible careers, but I feel like there's a big door open for the first female powerhouse actress.
Well, Ronda Rousey tried to do it in what was the movie? The Entourage movie.
Well, she went in reverse order because
Yeah.
she did the MMA, the acting, then
She
Right,
did
right.
before the acting was before
That's
the
true.
WWE. I just wonder, is
Yeah.
there one that I'm missing?
No, I mean Becky was in a WWE Studios film, Marine
There's
6
definitely
or something
people
like
who
that.
have performed.
Right, but and she's an amazing actor. Wow, but no one that has really pursued it in the female department from the WWE, and that's something that I feel like the day I got hired with this company, I saw as my long-term goal.
Right. Yeah. That was her intention. That's exactly what we're talking about,
Yeah.
is intention. So, all right. So that's how we met. So let's go back. There's, people have asked me, what was it with acting? And I've told you guys the story that I did Rumpelstiltskin in 5th grade and I loved it and I'd entertain my brothers and sisters. What was it you were raised in New Jersey.
Yep.
What was it that made you think, and this was something that hit me like junior high school, that I want to make a bigger impact than this town. I'm not faulting people who like to stay in their town, but
Yeah.
what was it that made you think I want more than this?
Different than this, at least.
Different than
Right.
this. Different
Yeah.
than this, right? That does
Good way
sound
to put it.
judgmental.
I grew up in a small town in New Jersey. People think New Jersey, they think like the city. They think, you take the subway everywhere. Not my part of Jersey. I grew up in South Jersey, Chemung, New Jersey.
Okay.
Where there's
Please say
nothing-
that one more time.
Chemung, New Jersey.
They
Wow.
are among us.
People. Oh, that was good. People.
I'm being pun-ished by Roxy today.
Hardcore.
Hardcore.
I can't with you guys.
I can't help it.
I know.
can't.
It is.
Yeah, it's a terrible. People hear that town name and they're like,
Yeah.
And it's still the town
So
that I
good.
come out to today. They, when they introduce me to the ring, they say Sonya Deville from Chemung, New
Chemung.
Jersey.
I
and
love
my
that
coaches
name.
are like, can you change the town? And I'm like, no,
That's where you're from.
where I'm from.
Yeah.
I love
But
that name.
anyway, so growing up in a really small town, I always, I was kind of like an outcast. Like I played sports, but then I quit playing sports my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
And
What were you playing?
I was playing lacrosse, basketball, soccer.
Oh, so all the sports.
all the sports.
Okay.
So,
Can I
literally all the sports.
So can I take you back before that? Elementary school and junior high school, you didn't feel like you had a clique or a place to belong? Is that what you mean?
It was so I always belonged in the sports community. So
Okay.
my friends were the girls that played the sports, etc. But when I got to high school and stopped playing sports my sophomore year, then I kind of lost a lot of those friends.
Right.
And I had my like 2 best friends that stuck by me, but
Sure.
I was kind of like an outcast. I didn't really have like a thing.
Your thing, right?
Right. So I was always searching for that. And I remember I was 14 years old and I was like, Mom, I want to be an actor. And
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessed with crime shows, Criminal Minds, CSI, Law and Order. And I wanted to be like, what's her name? Mariska.
Mariska Hargitay.
Yeah, I wanted to be Mariska Hargitay. I can't even pronounce that, so I'm not going to try again. But like that was my dream. I was like, I want to be a detective on a show like that.
Like a procedural show.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was obsessed with it, and I loved film too. And
You didn't want to be an actual detective ever. You wanted to pretend to be a detective. Always.
yeah,
That's interesting.
I did have hopes and dreams of being in the FBI, but I would much rather play an FBI agent.
Yeah, but
I
then
think.
no one gets to see that.
I wanted the fantasy world. I didn't want
Sure.
the actual, But regardless, so I was like, Mom, I want to do acting, but there's no acting coaches in Chemung, New Jersey.
Sure.
So my mom would actually drive me an hour to acting classes with this acting coach. Her name is Lisa Regina.
Okay.
Where was that? In the more city?
Closer to Philly.
Okay.
Right outside of Philly.
So what was the town? Well, that town. Do you remember?
Starts with no.
No,
But
it's
right
o- it's
outside of
okay.
Philly.
Bumong.
Yeah,
Bumung.
Bumung.
It was Bumung, New Jersey.
Bumung, New Jersey.
I knew it.
Barrington.
I-
Barrington, New Jersey.
Okay.
I think.
Barrington.
Shout
Yes.
out to Barrington.
Yeah.
I think.
Shout out to
Anyway,
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa. She was married to someone from The Sopranos, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, so I started studying with her. My mom would bring me every week, and my
Okay.
dad was kind of like, "Oh, such a waste of time and money." He didn't really get it.
Right.
But I was obsessed with it.
Okay.
I would literally watch shows and film, and I'd be like, I want to be doing that. Like
Sure.
I just became obsessed with it. Then later on, I would go through times in high school where I wasn't the happiest, and my mom's like, you need to do something active too to help your endorphins and stuff. So that's where I found MMA.
Okay.
And I wanted to, my dream was always, Mom, I'm going to fight and I'm going to act.
Okay. So wait. Yeah, I'm with you. How do you find MMA?
Where
Okay.
is that?
Like, yeah.
My,
Like, it's not something that you're like, well, you go, and then I was a pom-pom girl. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I follow that. But
Right.
finding MMA?
my uncle came over to my house. He was doing the decking in our backyard. And
Okay.
his daughter was actually a ice hockey goalie.
Okay.
And in her training of being a hockey goalie, she started to do some martial arts.
That makes so much sense.
And
What a
so
great idea.
He's talking about it, and I go, "Oh my god!" I fell in love with that. I was a very passionate kid.
Yeah.
Anything I wanted to do, I would become obsessed with it, and I would
Right.
have to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Mom, I want to be an MMA fighter."
Okay.
And she's like, "Okay." And this is the conversation I never forget it. I go, "Mom, should I learn how to play a musical instrument, or should I fight MMA?" Because that was the two we were deciding between. Because I needed an outlet, you know. She goes, "Maybe learn how to play the guitar or something." And I go, "Okay, I'm going to fight MMA." And she goes, "Of course you are."
Yeah, of course.
So then my mom, God bless my mother, would then drive me an hour every day to my MMA training.
in
every
addition
day?
to Lisa?
4 days a week.
But in
In
addition,
addition to Lisa.
Okay.
So I'm now doing acting. I think I was doing acting once a week, or maybe twice. And then I was doing the MMA 4 days a week. So my mom would literally come, wait, drive me to the next.
Wow.
And we would do this routine every week after she was done work, after I was done school. And then, because I didn't get my license till my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
So then once I got my driver's license, I would take myself. And I remember my routine was I did this program called Co-op. So I got out of school my senior year at 10 a.m.
Oh, yeah, like the work study.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would go work for my dad for 4 hours. Mm-hmm. My dad owns a construction company, and I would clean the parts room where all
Wow.
the parts were kept.
Okay.
And then I'd drive from there to training,
Okay.
and then training to home, and I'd heat up, what was that? Stouffer's mac and cheese. And that was
Nice.
my routine every day.
Yeah.
And it's
a lot of
just-
mac and cheese.
I ate so much mac and cheese.
Mine was quick chocolate milk and saltines with peanut butter. That was my after-school snack.
Okay.
Yeah. I make like
Nutritious.
3 or 4 sandwiches and then like chocolate milk.
What's that stuff called?
The marshmallow stuff.
The powder.
Fluff?
No,
Yeah.
I love that. But like the powder chocolate milk.
Ovaltine.
Yeah, quick.
Ovaltine.
I got
No,
you.
Quick.
No, I don't know what that is.
You don't know? Does anyone know Quick? Q-U-I-K?
I've
mean
never had
Nesquik?
chocolate
Nesquik.
milk.
No,
Talking about Nesquik?
Quick.
Quick?
Oh wow, it's Nestle's Quick. Yeah, look at that. Look that up.
That's Nesquik.
No, it's Nestle's
He
Quick.
said no.
No, it's Nestle's
No.
Quick. No, but Ovaltine. Yeah, Ovaltine was the more nutritious version.
Okay, Ovaltine was my jam.
That's nice.
So did you love it from day one, or were
Acting
you
or
like
MMA?
Both or
Yeah.
Well, because acting you said you loved.
Yeah.
You were going there, but
Obsessed
then you
with.
start doing MMA. Acting is 1 time a week. MMA you're doing 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Are you like, this is exhausting? Why am I doing this?
No, I was obsessed with it. I don't think I knew what the word exhausted even meant when I was that age. I was just very like, I want to get out of this town. I want to conquer the world. I want to do whatever I have to do to be amazing. Like I just wanted to be something larger than life. You know what I mean? I didn't want to settle. The thought of settling for whatever reason like scared me.
Okay,
Like,
can I just do a quick takeaway for everybody?
Oh, yeah.
That word is not allowed in my house.
Exhausted.
I mean, on a consistent basis, because there's a great line in the show Girls, in the series
Girls.
premiere,
Me too.
the series finale, when she's alone in that house or whatever, and then she's like, her baby's not taking to her nipple, trying to do breastfeeding, and she's just like, I'm just emotionally exhausted. And the mom has the best line that I've used all the time. She says, guess who else is emotionally exhausted? She says, who? She goes, everybody on the planet.
Yeah.
Everyone. So when my
Wow.
daughters would say, well, I can't do it, I'm exhausted. And I go, not an excuse. We're all exhausted. We're all exhausted. So that's
great.
huge to me. Guys, just simply removing that word from your vocabulary, or sparingly, very sparingly, then you open up a whole new mindset.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's hard because obviously we all, like you said, everyone gets everyone gets tired, everyone wants to complain, and
Sure.
everyone is entitled to complain and be in a bad mood.
Yes, of course.
I don't want to paint this picture that my journey, I was like, I'm perfectly fine. This is so fun. There was days where I did not want to get up
Of
and go to school and
course.
go to training and go to work. It was a grind. But the general consensus and the mindset I had in that time was, I want to take over the world. I think this is my first step. And like we talked about on the Tomorrow Show last night, like I was always a fan of like tangible next steps. Like
Okay.
I would never set my next goal as like to the moon. I
Yeah.
would set it to like, Texas.
The closest star.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
so already you went for, and what were the sports you were playing before you left?
lacrosse, basketball, soccer.
Okay, and so you left those.
Yeah.
And even though you wanted to have more and maybe take those somewhere out of Shamung,
Yeah.
then you switched, and now you had one thing, that acting that you love, but it wasn't enough. So already your flexibility of your intention of I want more,
Yeah,
like had to change a little bit. Your attention went
Totally.
and then you had to redirect it.
Because I think there's a common misconception, and I think that sometimes parents, like when they see their kid bouncing from thing to thing, they go, you're all over the place. You can't make up your mind. You can't commit to something. And I think it's really important, and my mom did this so well for me, is she just supported whatever my journey be as long as I worked hard at it.
Right.
It's kind of a side note, but it sounds like your mom was ridiculously supportive of
So supportive.
everything. And I know that you didn't come out until later on in your journey.
Yeah.
Why was that something that, were you nervous she was not going to be supportive of that?
I
or-
knew she'd be supportive. I was in such denial within myself for the longest time, just
Yeah.
because of the place I grew up in. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
common. I didn't know anybody that was gay. I think I had one gay friend in high school, and she never even like came out. It was just like we all just knew. And-
Were you worried for them and their station in the town?
I think I was more just not comfortable with saying it.
Okay.
I was like, and I was also in denial. I was
Sure.
like, I'm not gay, am I? Because like, I think also the fact that I didn't fit the stereotypical mold of
Right.
what a lesbian is supposed
Yeah.
to be or act like. I was just this girl that nobody would have expected. Maybe had someone said, "Are you gay?" I would have been like, "Yeah, I am actually." You know what I mean?
Right.
And it took that opportunity. That opportunity happened when I was like 17, living in Florida. When I just graduated high school, my friend's mom said to me, "Honey, I think you're gay," and I go, "Yeah, I am." Like as soon as someone vocalized
Kind
it
of gave
to
you
me,
permission.
gave me permission, I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
yeah." But like no one had ever said it. I had never really. I would think it, but then I'd be like, "No, I've been dating guys my whole life." Like there was just. I just had a juxtaposition in my head. I just couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of why you loved performance and acting and
100%.
being somebody else at the time?
100%.
Wow. Interesting.
And that's something that I've only started to explore in recent years. I'm like, wait a second. I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome.
Looking back at it. Obviously, at the time, I don't think I was thinking that.
It was inside you, but you couldn't have verbalized
Right.
that
For
at
sure.
the time. That makes sense.
So you're doing these things. You graduate high school. Then what?
So this is fun. So the day of my high school graduation, I packed my car and I drove to South Florida. And I didn't get in any colleges because my grades were terrible.
Okay.
So I went to like a community college. It's called Palm Beach State University.
Okay.
But it's a community college attached to FAU. And I knew I did not want to go to college. I knew I was not a school person. I was not good with structure or anything like that when
Right.
it came to like paying attention, whatever. So, but I was like, I have ADHD really bad. But I was like, Dad, yeah, I'll go to college. But the real reason I picked South Florida was because the best fight team in the world is in South Florida, American Top Team.
Okay.
So my plan, my mom knew the plan, was, yeah, I'll go to college. Like, I figured maybe I'd get an associate's degree or something, but I'm just going there to fight MMA.
Okay.
Full time.
Okay.
I'm going to walk in this intimidating gym and I'm going to be like, I want to be a fighter. Because my training in Jersey, although it gave me the basics, I wasn't training on a fight team.
Sure.
I wasn't about to compete. I competed in like grappling tournaments.
So where does the acting fit at this juncture?
So, again, I was there to pursue both. So I was
Okay.
doing background work on Glades and Burn Notice, which were the only 2 shows in Miami at the time. So I would drive down to Miami and I would do background work on those shows like 2-3 times a week.
My fraternity brother Matt Nix created Burn Notice.
Wow.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we reacquainted
Frat bros
ourselves.
for life.
Frat
baby.
bros for life.
Frat bros. Is there a symbol?
Yeah,
I don't want to do the
no.
wrong
He can't
symbol.
show you.
I
too.
yeah,
Oh, it's a
I would
secret.
do the shake,
It's
but I
obviously
would have to.
secret.
Yeah, I can't do the secret shake.
I don't know anything about college.
It's all right. So you're doing extra work. You're
Yep.
doing the stuff, and then
I'm doing extra work.
For money or for fun? For both.
But well, I want to get my foot in the acting door. It wasn't for money because extra work doesn't pay well. It'd be like
But you're paying for these classes, not the extra work, but obviously for the MMA school, or no?
yes,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
So my parents at this point were paying for it. My dad is paying for it, and I'll get to it where he realizes I dropped out of college.
Oops.
And is flipping out about the MMA stuff.
What's realizes look like? You told him or
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I told my mom. I was like, Mom, I stopped going to college, and she's like, Sweetie, you weren't meant to do that. She knew.
Wow.
She knew I was not meant to
She
do that.
really
this
knew
woman.
who you were.
She is literally the best. And had she had the money to support me at that time, she would have. But
Okay.
unfortunately, my dad was the one that
Sure.
had the money. They're divorced. And so my dad was always fine as me doing MMA as a hobby. But anytime I would refer to it as a career, he just did not get it.
Right.
He was not on board.
Okay.
So the next couple years consisted of bartending to me. So then I started bartending so I could pay for my own stuff.
Guys, we have talked about this on this show. A flexible job like bartending with shifts.
Yeah.
So you can pursue your dreams. Remember that episode?
And I hear it all the time. Yeah.
The most
You
fun
got
I
it.
have ever had
Yeah.
is bartending and following my dreams.
I did it for years also.
right.
Loved it. Loved
bartending
my
is
waiting days. Were so fun at
You
Chin
go
Chin.
home, you count your cash. You're like, it's so gratifying. You're doing your own thing.
Made so much money.
So much,
much
money.
Money.
Yeah.
So much
Cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
The good old days.
The
am
good
I
old
right,
days.
guys?
Good old days.
The good old days.
Yeah, when people go, I don't
loved
want to
it.
live in poor. When you're poor, it's the funnest time ever. It is.
Yeah, Kevin always says there's no better time to be poor than now. Also, because you can have a massive flat screen for $300.
I will quote Prince, where he said, "The ride up front is better when you've been in the back."
100%.
That's a fact.
100%.
This kind of skips ahead,
yeah,
but
go
I do
ahead.
have a quick question on that. So your dad, not quite as supportive with at least the MMA aspect
Mm-hmm.
of it. Is he now?
He's my biggest fan.
Okay.
He comes to every pay-per-view.
But you kind of hold it against him, like you
No,
weren't there.
He got on board with the MMA. So as the journey continued, he
Great.
eventually was like, I'm not going to support you if you're going to do this MMA stuff. And I was like, great, because not at the time I didn't say great, but I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, okay, I'm going to save up as much money as I can, and I'm going to move to California, the land of acting and martial arts.
Great.
There was opportunity for both out there. So we're skipping a vital part of the story. This is a funny story I always tell.
Okay, go ahead.
So when I was living in New Jersey, I moved from Florida back to New Jersey so that I could act in New York.
Okay.
So I'm all over the map because once again, I was just going with what I felt at the time.
Right.
I was like, I'm training and I'm acting in South Florida, but there's not enough acting here.
Right.
Let me try New York. It's a feasible thing because I'm from Jersey.
Right.
Moved to New York or Jersey, right outside of New York. Pursued acting in the city. I'd go to all kinds of crazy auditions. You know,
Right.
I'd use the Actors Access and Backstage.com and all those websites just to get whatever I could, little independent films, whatever. Until one day I met this older man, Tony, and he had this script. And mind you, I was not out at this time. I was still dating men. Mm-hmm. He hands me
I love
this
this story.
script, and it's a LGBTQ script. It's about two young women that fall in love. And one is a Muslim and one is of Christian. and so they fall in love, and they're like 17, 18 years old, and their moms find out, and the Christian mother is not accepting of it. The Muslim mother is. And it's a really dramatic storyline where the Christian mother actually has the Muslim girl beat up.
Wow.
But in the process, the girl gets killed.
Oh, no.
That just took a
That's a
turn.
heavy
Yeah.
A
script.
very heavy script, but I read it,
Loved it.
felt like I have an obsessive personality as it is when it comes
Yeah.
to like passion and stuff. I became obsessed with it. And
Right.
in the back of my head, I was like, maybe this could be my coming out somehow.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I said that.
Do you, no, I mean, did you like say it, or do you think you felt it kind of as a vibe?
I said that in my head.
Oh, okay.
Because I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna produce this movie
Okay.
and hopefully get to work with some really great people.
And you're a teenager still. You're 19, you said?
Yeah, I was like 19. Yep.
Amazing.
Hopefully work with some great people along the way doing it, and hopefully at the end of it, when my family's watching this film, they can be like, "Is she gay?" And I can be like, "Yeah." So
Interesting.
it takes the craziest turn. So I'm up in my apartment right outside of New York City. I'm reading this script. I tell the guy, I'm like, whatever we have to do to make this film, we're going to make it. And I don't really think we can have a budget because I have no money and I don't know how to get funding.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how to do any of that. I'm just a 19-year-old girl that wants to make a movie happen. He's like, well, I got a camera. I'll direct it. You can, kind of find the locations that we can film at and some actors that are willing to do it for next to nothing.
Yeah.
And let's just try to make it happen. And I was like, all right. So determined I was. I held auditions in New York City, and I got some actors that, wanted to just work and get
Wanted
some
to work,
footage.
get some footage. Yeah, get for their reels.
And so I'll never forget, me and Tony are holding the audition so I played the lead. I played
Yeah.
the Christian girl.
Sure.
So we're doing a casting call for the person opposite me, the Muslim girl. And this girl walks in, and she was Greek, but could totally pull off Muslim. She had the darker
Okay.
skin, and she was beautiful. And long story short, she ended up becoming my girlfriend for 3 years. in real life.
Wow.
Art imitated life, life imitated art.
Wow.
We
Amazing.
started filming. We did a pre-production trailer to get some hype behind the film.
Mm-hmm.
And in the trailer shoot, the director made us kiss. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that was the most awkward thing I've ever seen. The two of you need to go hang out, get drunk together, do whatever you got to do, and get to know each other better, because it's going to be awkward the whole film if this is what it's going
Right.
to look
If
like.
that's the way it's going to
Wow.
look.
I said, okay. I said, come out to my apartment in Jersey. Let's go out to a bar or whatever. The first time we ever went out, it was on a double date that I set up with two guys.
Wow.
So she wasn't out.
She was dating guys before me.
Yeah.
So we go out, we're dating these two guys, and halfway through the night, she goes, you want to ditch them? And I was like, totally.
Wow.
And the two of us took off, and the rest is kind of history.
Wow.
And we this was my first girl, my first
Yeah.
female that I ever fell in love with. So
Yeah.
we were head over heels. We're filming this movie. Nobody knows. We're not telling anybody.
Yeah.
So the director's just like, oh, you guys got comfortable. And we're like, yeah, totally.
That's
And then
amazing.
she kind of didn't have a great home situation. And I said, you want to move to LA? And she's like, that's my dream. I want to be an actor.
Right.
And I go, let's do it.
That's
so
excellent.
I saved up $5,000 bartending. And
That's what you say you need.
Yeah.
5 to
We've said
10K,
that.
yeah.
5 to
Really?
10K.
Yeah.
We
I
always
s-
say 5 to 10K.
so $5,000 was good. I think I was comfortable at
You
that.
wish you had 10.
I wish I had 10.
What year was this?
2013,
Okay.
13 or 14.
Okay.
And so we drove our cars across the country separately. So we followed each other across the entire country. 'Cause
Right.
We had to get both our cars
Sure.
out there. And we lived in a studio apartment in Hollywood, Wilcox in Hollywood. It's called
Yeah.
like Vita Hollywood or something. And we had cockroach infestation in our apartment. We lived with that for like 8 months and then finally broke the lease. We used to shop at Food for Less on Hollywood. And we just did the grind, and we would go to
Auditions.
whatever
and-
auditions we
Sure.
could. She got into MMA eventually.
Okay.
I was doing the MMA.
Daria told me yesterday she was debating buying a Maserati, so we can see how this story turns out.
Oh, okay. So,
I
It
said
works
I,
out decently, maybe.
That's-
I said I had a quarter life crisis and thought about it, but I
Yeah,
decided
yeah.
not
From
to.
the girl who's living in a studio with another person with a
Yeah.
cockroach
Yeah.
infestation.
yeah, you grew from there. So how did we? Because we're getting towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to. So you're in Hollywood. You're auditioning.
Yeah.
And where's the MMA at this point?
I'm training with a great fight gym down here, Systems Training Center. I'm the most serious I've ever been about it in terms of progression and where I'm at. I took my first 3 fights. My dad ended up coming to the second one.
Oh, that's amazing.
And watched me knock a girl out and was like, well, this is cool. I'm on board now. And,
Yeah.
I think he came on board because he watched me prove myself. Here I am living in LA, self-sufficient now. I'm paying my own bills. I'm doing everything on my own, and I'm still pursuing my dream. I didn't take the easy route out. I didn't go get a 9-to-5. I didn't settle. I'm still pursuing my dream. Yeah.
Right.
So he kind of, as my journey progressed, he came along more so and more so, and especially with getting signed to WWE, now he's literally my biggest fan.
Well, to get it back to our theme here, your attention and your intention just keep lining up more often than your attention is off.
Well,
do you know
how
what I mean?
more ironic is it than being a kid saying, I want to fight and I want to act, not knowing wrestling existed, and then finding the one thing that combines acting and fighting.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
It was.
But did you look at it that way when you were, because I know that Keven and Maria approached you about going to the WWE.
Kevin called me. I'll never forget his words on the phone. He said, you're probably going to say no, but hear me out. And he said, WWE's doing this reality show, Tough Enough, and, I'm not saying we can get you on, but you can get you a tryout. Are you even interested?
Yeah.
He's like, I think you should do this. I think you should do this. It'd be really good. And I said, I'd love to. And he's like, what? Why'd you say yes so easily? And I was like, because it's competition. Like, I love competition. I'm a lifelong athlete. Like, that was like a dream to me. I was like, yeah, I'll be on a competition show.
Sure.
Not really getting into the wrestling at that point, but just a competition show.
Yeah.
Then fell in love with wrestling, and the rest is, kind of history.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you're always, it sounded like you're always adapting. You're always kind of going with what's going on. So where did your acting, in terms of like legit TV show, stuff like that, acting go when you do WWE? Not to, I hope that didn't sound wrong. Like not legit, but you know what I mean?
Do
Like
you mean more straightforward acting?
more straightforward TVs, films, things like that. So were you okay with that going okay, well, this is going to be a means to an end, or how did you see it?
Well, I saw the WWE being a performance. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get to live out all my creative necessities and needs and urges through WWE.
And everything that you literally had done and trained for all kind of comes together.
Right. Because I didn't have a break in acting. I didn't have anything big, take off really. I made my one indie film and I was like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really was at a plateau with that. But with the MMA, I just kept going and kept going. And then when I started doing AfterBuzz, I was fulfilling a creative need here by being on air and talking to people and interviewing people. So I was kind of just, like you said, going with the flow and being flexible, knowing my end goal.
Yes.
Not knowing how I'm going to get to it or what it is. But I got to it by just going with the flow. I ended up doing sports entertainment, the WWE, which, like we said, is the culmination of everything I always wanted to do.
That's amazing. It's funny because I think I've mentioned this on the show before, maybe not, but Tony Robbins says, he says that, when pilots take off and they go, we're going to Hawaii, they know that. But there may be a storm. There may be this. They're always going up and around and different. They'll say, hey, we're going to be going for 15 more minutes or something like that. But they know they're going to Hawaii. And that's kind of the way that you look at a journey like that. And you're chuckling. Why are you chuckling?
Because when you said it, I was like, well, only some of them like Hawaii 5.0. And but then I realized you meant pilots, like the people flying the plane.
Oh, not pilots, like a TV show pilot.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
You're like, only they're going to Hawaii, and I was like, not everything shoots in Hawaii.
Only Roxy and I
that's why I giggled.
would say pilot flying to Hawaii, and Roxy think it's a TV
I was like, well,
show.
Lost, some pilots, but not
right.
When pilots take off.
Really funny.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
So I giggled because I realized about halfway through you were not talking about the kind of pilot I was talking about.
That's really funny.
I was like, I guess if they can't shoot in Hawaii, they could find a different place. Yeah, they could film somewhere else, probably.
But that's what we're trying to say, guys. If you know you want to do this, you have no idea. I didn't know I was going to the Groundlings. Roxy didn't know she was going to end up at AfterBuzz.
No.
I mean, you just keep your eyes on the prize and then kind of going with everything.
Yeah.
And then you kind of merge in. So your journey is not even done, not even close,
No,
right?
it's just getting started.
You're just getting started.
But I want to talk about the acting that we've been doing before we
Okay.
go here, because
Okay.
I don't want to miss out on that. And I just want to say that
Roxy knows I have a hard time talking about myself, so.
Yeah, you do.
I'll
but
do it for you,
I
no
think
big
that
deal.
instead of talking about, because I want to get to your story from the set, but I think we push it to next.
Let's push it.
Yeah, because you have an awesome story from the set this time.
Yes.
But I
I'm
want to
sorry.
talk about how you guys got together, because, like you said,
Yeah.
Kevin kind of put everybody on a group text. You guys ended up being able to meet for lunch, but then where do you go from there? How does that take off?
Well, we were talking about fleshing out her character,
Right.
and what that means, and how to make it fuller,
Yep.
make it something where it's not about learning lines and doing this, and how do we differentiate herself? How do we give her a persona
that was
is
my
unique?
biggest thing when
Yeah.
I met Sean. I was like, Sonya Deville is a badass. We know that. But she hadn't really established a personality. Like, I don't think fans were able to say Sonya's likes and dislikes
Right.
or her character traits. And that bothered me, because I was like, I need to figure out who the hell Sonya is. So, and what Sean taught me, which is genius, is if you know who your character is, you'll know how to answer any question as your character. So now that I know who Sonya is and what she believes in and where she comes from and her backstory, you could ask me anything in character and I'll be able to answer it, because I know her thought process and her psyche.
But does WWE never have those conversations with you?
Well, I mean, we have promo class when you're in NXT and developmental and training, but it's once you get past promo class, once you're on Raw or SmackDown, it's on your own to keep pursuing and creating your craft and furthering your character. And so writers can give you a script, but they're not going to sit there with you for hours. They don't have time to sit there with
they've
you
got
for
a lot
hours.
to juggle. Listen, this is what I learned on soap operas too. The people who did really, really well were the people who, yes, they have a storyline, right? But they had to take the time, and it moves quick, just like
Yeah.
WWE. They had to do the same thing. They had to do a backstory. So to answer your question, and she kind of answered it, it's the first thing I did is say, we need you to write a backstory.
Right.
I want you to, who is Sonya Deville?
Can you
Who-
share a little bit of what you guys came up with?
Well, I mean, it was just, there was, basically about, I took moments in her life and then we would make it more dramatic, as if like when she quit sports, we said, then those girls became kind of mean and that hardened her. Do you know what I mean? Like we would just
Yeah.
tweak things and make it, to fit into this character.
Which part of the backstory do you feel like you're implementing the most now in the character?
Good question. It's the fact that Sonya understands the long game.
Yeah.
She's Sonya's very calm and collective. She understands the importance of loyalty, and
Yeah.
that's something that she values and cherishes. So Sonya's loyalty to Mandy right now is everything. So
Yeah.
it's very important.
So it's really, really kind of like this, and we took the Jersey and we took the Italian,
Yep.
and we were like, okay, she's kind of like a mob person. Here's my journey. Who's coming with me? You better be loyal. If you're not loyal, that's fine. I'm not going to get you now, but you're going to get yours in the long run.
Yeah. Sonya is like, I'm a cool person. I can get along with almost anybody.
Right.
Just don't cross me.
Yeah, don't cross her. Don't cross her. So we're building this persona.
I wonder what
and-
that means for the future.
Yeah, and our favorite, line is from The Godfather. It's not personal; it's business.
Yeah. It's
And
nothing
that's-
personal. It's just business.
Yeah, so she's kind of emulating this kind of Jersey Sopranos-esque.
What do you
mob
guys
character.
do in your Skype sessions then? Are you rehearsing specific character moments or promos that you're doing?
So
or?
none of that is available to us, because when we get our promos, it's the day of TV. And so that's why what we do isn't rehearsing lines. It can't be.
Can't
It's
be.
character development.
It's character development, so that he trusts me when I get the script, that I can interpret it myself and just be Sonya when I perform.
And
and they-
are you watching some of the performances now?
Well,
to see if-
sometimes they have texted me, and I've been able to coach them. Like minutes before
I
they go on.
FaceTimed him with Mandy in the locker room, and he's literally giving me FaceTime lessons.
When I'm
right before.
available,
That's
like
amazing.
I literally
It's
do that
incredible.
right off the thing, and I'll run rehearsals with them really quick, and I'll
Yep.
say, Mandy, why don't you adjust this a little bit? Sonya, do
Yep.
this, and then we'll go from there. So,
So you're now kind of Mandy's acting coach.
a
too.
little bit, a
Yeah,
little
it was
spillover.
getting a little-
Yeah.
that's
She
great.
Yeah,
loves it. She was like, he is so good. And like I was saying the other day, and I've got a lot of tweets about it, like people are realizing that I'm putting in the work, and
Yeah.
it's such a good feeling to know that people are seeing the progress and seeing the difference. So, Sean, you're the man. Thank you so much. A lot more to come, people.
A lot more to come.
This is
You
just
haven't
the
seen
beginning.
anything yet.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anything yet. We have a lot of tricks up our sleeve. It's going to get very exciting. Mr. Funtabulous is letting me know that we're the end of our journey, but not the end of Sonya Deville's journey, not by a long shot. So where do we find you, Roxy?
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar.
All right.
You can find me at Sonya Deville WWE on Instagram and Twitter. Don't
Miss-
come on my Facebook. It's weird and creepy.
Mr. Fantabulous.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. I've loved this interview, guys. I've just been grinning ear to ear in the booth here. So,
that's
so
great,
much fun. Yeah.
And
Thanks, Jeff.
I'm at that guy SMW on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find me at Sean Whalen Peeps. It's a group on Facebook.
Wow.
And as always, thank you for letting me be part of your journey.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.